Hello, my friend, and welcome to the study. On this winter's day, we're again in a space in between Christmas Day, New Year's, and the 12th night, between work and rest, between one year and the next, between winter's beginning and winter's depth. Here we can enjoy the pleasures of the inside. First, a nice cup of Christmas tea with winter spices. Now let's begin with a story. This is a book compiled by Nancy Campbell, Nature Tales for Winter Nights. Imagine we're a little fox in a den, looking out over the winter countryside. knowing the things that foxes know, the secrets in the wind, watching the people go about their business, knowing what the creatures are doing about us. There's a short story, or part of a story here, by Kenneth Grahame, called The Wild Wood, and it's from The Wind in the Willows. Let's get out the wind in the willows, and I'll read this story for you. The Wild Wood. There was plenty to talk about on those short winter days when the animals found themselves round the fire. Still, the mole had a good deal of spare time on his hands, and so one afternoon, when the rat in his armchair before the blaze was alternately dozing and trying little rhymes that wouldn't fit, he formed the resolution to go out by himself and explore the wild wood, and perhaps strike up an acquaintance with Mr. Badger. It was a cold, still afternoon, with a hard, steely sky overhead, when he slipped out of the warm parlour into the open air. The country lay bare and entirely leafless around him, and he thought that he had never seen so far and so intimately into the insides of things as on that winter day when nature was deep in her annual slumber and seemed to have kicked the clothes off. Copses, dells, quarries, and all hidden places which had been mysterious mines for exploration in leafy summer, now exposed themselves and their secrets pathetically, and seemed to ask him to overlook their shabby poverty for a while, till they could riot in such masquerade as before, and trick and entice him with the old deceptions. It was pitiful in a way, and yet cheering, even exhilarating. He was glad that he liked the country undecorated, hard and stripped of its finery. He had got down to the bare bones of it, and they were fine and strong and simple. He did not want warm clover and the play of seeding grasses, the screens of quickset, the billowy drapery of beech and elm seemed best away, and with great cheerfulness of spirit he pushed onwards, towards the wild wood which lay before him low and threatening, like a black reef in some still southern sea. There was nothing to alarm him at first entry. Twigs crackled under his feet, logs tripped him, funguses on stumps resembled caricatures, and startled him for the moment by their likeness to something familiar and far away. But that was all fun and exciting. It led him on, and he penetrated to where the light was less, and trees crouched nearer and nearer, and holes made ugly mouths at him on either side. Everything was very still now. The dusk advanced on him steadily, rapidly gathering in behind and before, and the light seemed to be draining away like floodwater. Then the faces began. It was over his shoulder, and indistinctly, that he first thought he saw a face, a little evil wedge-shaped face, looking out at him from a hole. When he turned and confronted it, the thing had vanished. He quickened his pace, telling himself cheerfully not to begin imagining things, or there would be simply no end to it. He passed another hole, and another, and another, and then, yes, certainly a little narrow face with hard eyes had flashed up for an instant from a hole, and was gone. He hesitated, braced himself up for an effort, and strode on. Then suddenly, and as if it had been so all the time, every hole, far and near, and there were hundreds of them, seemed to possess its face, coming and going rapidly, all fixing on him glances of malice and hatred, all hard-eyed and evil and sharp. If he could only get away from the holes in the banks, he thought, there would be no more faces. He swung off the path and plunged into the untrodden places of the wood. Then the whistling began. Very faint and shrill it was, and far behind him when first he heard it. But somehow it made him hurry forward. Then, still very faint and shrill, it sounded far ahead of him, and made him hesitate and want to go back. As he halted in indecision, it broke out on either side, and seemed to be caught up and passed on throughout the whole length of the wood, to its farthest limit. They were up and alert and ready, evidently, whoever they were, and he was alone and unarmed and far from any help, and the night was closing in. Then the pattering began. He thought it was only falling leaves at first, so slight and delicate was the sound of it. Then, as it grew, it took a regular rhythm, and he knew it for nothing else but the pat, pat, pat of little feet, still a very long way off. Was it in front or behind? It seemed to be first one, and then the other, then both. It grew and it multiplied, till from every quarter, as he listened anxiously, leaning this way and that, it seemed to be closing in on him. As he stood still to hearken, a rabbit came running hard towards him through the trees. He waited, expecting it to slacken pace or to swerve from him to a different course. Instead, the animal almost brushed him as it dashed past, his face set and hard, his eyes staring. "Get out of this, you fool, get out," the mole heard him mutter as he swung round a stump and disappeared down a friendly burrow. The pattering increased till it sounded like sudden hail on the dry leaf carpet spread around him. The whole wood seemed running now, running hard, hunting, chasing, closing in round something or somebody. In panic, he began to run too, aimlessly, he knew not whither. He ran up against things, he fell over things and into things, he darted under things and dodged round things. At last he took refuge in the deep, dark hollow of an old beech tree which offered shelter, concealment, perhaps even safety, but who could tell? Anyhow, he was too tired to run any further, and could only snuggle down into the dry leaves which had drifted into the hollow, and hope he was safe for a time. And as he lay there panting and trembling, and listened to the whistlings and the patterings outside, he knew it at last, in all its fullness, that dread thing which other little dwellers in field and hedgerow had encountered here, and known as their darkest moment, that thing which the rat had vainly tried to shield him from, the terror of the wild wood. So, my friend, what can ye think that this terror of the wild wood is? Well, eventually, Rat goes out looking and finds Mole. And Mole tells him of his fright. "Oh, I quite understand," said Rat soothingly. "You shouldn't really have gone and done it, Mole. I did my best to keep you from it. We river bankers, we hardly ever come here by ourselves. If we have to come, we come in couples, at least. Then we're generally all right. Besides, there are 100 things one has to know, which we understand all about, and you don't, as yet. I mean passwords and signs and sayings which have power and effect, and plants you carry in your pocket, and verses you repeat, and dodges and tricks you practice, all simple enough when you know them, but they've got to be known if you're small, or you'll find yourself in trouble. Of course, if you were badger or otter, it would be quite another matter. So poor Mole had heard all of the sounds of the forest, and all of the creatures that live there, and being such a small mole, you can see that he probably was quite vulnerable. Shall we make a magic spell for when we wander in those dark, wild places? As is often the case with Kenneth Grahame, the words and what's between the lines are alluding to much deeper thoughts and feelings as we watch these animals contend with life's troubles and their own journeys through the world. So we can take a few things from this story. At winter time, being in this transient space between worlds, being able to feel other worlds, if not exactly touch them or completely understand them. There's a little bit of fear, but also curiosity, a little bit of melancholy, a little bit of loneliness. And the welcome help and support from friends and family. The coziness of sitting with one's friends by the fire and reminiscing together or ruminating. And so, whatever we're grappling with in our life, and we look to the inside, to our inner world, to find solutions and understanding, Ratty's idea of having a powerful word or charm, be it a little saying in one's pocket or something like a stone, a crystal, a shell that you hold on to that can remind you of something, prayer beads, little mindfulness buddy to ground your thoughts and feelings, help you focus, is a good idea. So I think that for a very nice charm to take with us into the magical places, the dangerous, adventurous places of the woods and the imagination, we can look to Redwall. Martin the Warrior was a story that was told when all of the creatures of Redwall gathered down in Cavern Hole for the winter feast and the midwinter celebrations. Now, we don't actually have this from the books, but it was contributed by Brian Jakes, or in collaboration with Brian Jakes, the author. And we'll write it here. It's part of a song. It's part of a song that Mossflower sings about Noonvale. Now we have red Florentine paper for midwinter festivities. And I'm going to use a glass nib pen. There. See the pretty pattern there? And we'll write one little verse and seal this up to take with us into those magical spaces. And we're going to use some ink from the Canadian Ferris wheel press. You can see it's got animals enjoying winter activities in an animal village. And this one is Frontenac Blue. It's a very pretty bottle. And there's some shiny in it. So get a little bit of that shiny in the ink, I think. You can't hear it very well. There we go. It's a bit of scratch paper. It's probably the best idea at the time. There we are. It's a very silent lid, and it's got a little rubber stopper. There we are. And it's quite watery. So let's give you a verse for your charm. Not the best handwriting. It's not an easy grip on this glass pen. Look for me at the dawning. When the earth is asleep. Look at the little droplet there. If I could get it to till each dewdrop, there it's acting a little bit better now, is kissing by the day. Really appalling handwriting. I do apologize. I don't have a good grip on this glass pen at all. I suppose I need to practice some more. Neath. Come on. Neath the rowan and alder. It's probably very faint to see as well. Okay. A vigil I'll keep. Every moment I'm determined to do this because the sounds are so nice, that you are away. There. I picked this one because it's a little bit sad, but also a little bit comforting. There's someone waiting for someone they care about. They don't know if they will return. Look for me at dawn, when the earth is asleep, till each dewdrop is kissing by the day. Neath the rowan and alder, a vigil I'll keep, every moment that you are away. So in this December to January limbo, this strange space of time where everything stands still with the solstice, we're almost touching those who are apart. We can almost feel those who are gone, who we've lost, who are not with us, who we miss, and we can keep a vigil to their memory and not be afraid in the wild wood. It's a nice sound, isn't it? I'm going to change pens now because it's time to thank our December 2025 patrons of the study. Now, this one matches better the color of the ink, and we're going to thank all of our patrons from Patreon, everyone who's viewing, and everyone who's friends of the study, or if you're just finding us for the first time. Very glad to see you, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. Thank you. And to our special sextant level patrons, Pirate Carrie, thank you. Thank you. Romulus, thank you. Thank you. Ben, thank you. Thank you. Having trouble with the ink now. This one's usually a much better writing pen. And let's give this a bit of a flourish. Joshua, thank you. Thank you. Theron, thank you. Thank you. Andreas, thank you. Thank you. Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you. And Carman 1000. Thank you. Thank you. A very warm and comfortable and happy holidays to everyone. And I will see you in the new year with more quiet, happy, and comforting times here in your personal study. Be good to yourself, my friend. Be kind to others. Have a wonderful week and be extraordinary.